Have you been feeling more tired than usual lately, even after a full night's sleep? Do your ankles feel a little swollen in the morning? Or do you wake up wondering why your body just doesn't recover the way it used to? If you're over 60, I want you to listen very carefully because what I'm about to say could quietly determine the next 10 years of your life. I'm Dr. Richard Hale, and here is the urgent truth most people never hear until it's too late. Your kidneys can be failing right now without causing pain, without dramatic symptoms, without any clear warning sign that sends you to the doctor. In fact, nearly 4 out of 10 Americans over the age of 65 are already living with chronic kidney disease, and most of them have absolutely no idea. By the time symptoms finally appear, many are told the same devastating sentence. We should have caught this earlier, followed by conversations about dialysis machines and a life suddenly measured in clinic appointments. But here's the part that changes everything, and this is why you should not look away. Kidney decline is not always a one-way road. I've seen patients slow it down, stabilize it, and in some cases protect what function they still have without expensive drugs, without extreme diets, and without giving up the foods they enjoy. The key is understanding what truly supports the kidneys at a biological level and what quietly accelerates their damage day after day. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a clear, practical solution rooted in everyday nutrition, specifically 7 common fruits that research has shown can help protect kidney cells, reduce inflammation, flush harmful toxins, and support healthier filtration as you age. These aren't exotic supplements or medical fads. You'll find them in ordinary grocery stores, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to use them, when to eat them, and why timing matters more than most people realize. And one of these fruits, the last one most people are eating completely wrong. Stay with me because missing that detail could cost you years of kidney function you cannot afford to lose. Let's start with something that sounds simple, almost too simple to matter, but it's often where kidney damage quietly begins: infection. Most people think urinary tract infections are just an inconvenience, something uncomfortable but temporary. I want you to picture this instead. A 68-year-old woman I once spoke with told me she'd had minor UTIs for years. No fever, no severe pain, just burning now and then. She ignored them. By the time she was referred to a specialist, the infection had traveled upward, silently scarring her kidneys. Her words still stay with me. No one told me this could hurt my kidneys. This is where cranberries enter the story, and not in the way most people think. Cranberries don't work by killing bacteria. That's the mistake many make. They work by stopping bacteria, especially E. coli, from sticking to the walls of the urinary tract in the first place. They contain unique compounds called A-type proanthocyanidins, and these compounds essentially make the urinary tract too slippery for bacteria to latch on. When bacteria can't stick, they get flushed out before they cause damage. Large clinical reviews have shown that regular cranberry consumption can reduce recurrent urinary tract infections by roughly 30 to 50%, especially in older adults. And that matters because every untreated or repeated infection increases inflammation inside the kidneys. Over time, inflammation leads to scarring. Scarring leads to reduced filtration. Reduced filtration leads to the diagnosis people fear most. But cranberries do more than infection control. They're packed with antioxidants that protect delicate kidney cells from oxidative stress, the kind of cellular wear and tear that builds up silently over decades. They also help slightly acidify urine, creating an environment that discourages harmful bacteria and reduces the risk of certain infection-related kidney stones. Now, this is critical. I'm not talking about sweetened cranberry cocktails loaded with sugar. Sugar fuels inflammation and does your kidneys no favors. I'm talking about fresh cranberries, frozen cranberries, or truly unsweetened cranberry juice, diluted if needed. Used correctly, this becomes protection, not punishment. And before you assume this is enough, let me pause you right here, because preventing damage is only one side of kidney health. What really determines whether kidneys hold on to function is something most people overlook entirely: blood flow. And that brings us to the next fruit, which works in a completely different and frankly surprising way. If cranberries protect the kidneys by stopping silent damage at the door, then the next fruit works deeper inside the system by changing how well your kidneys are supplied with life itself. Because kidneys don't fail only from toxins or infections. Very often they fail because they're slowly being starved of blood. I want you to think about that for a moment. Your kidneys receive nearly 20% of your heart's output. When circulation weakens, kidney cells don't get enough oxygen, nutrients, or time to recover. Damage doesn't happen all at once. It accumulates quietly year after year. I once spoke with a retired man in his early 70s who told me, "My labs kept getting worse, but I was drinking water all day." What he didn't realize was that hydration alone wasn't the problem. His blood vessels had become stiff, his circulation sluggish. The water was there, but it wasn't reaching the kidneys efficiently. This is where watermelon becomes far more than a summer snack. Watermelon is over 90% water, which already helps reduce the concentration of waste products the kidneys must filter. But the real power comes from an amino acid called L-citrulline. Inside the body, citrulline is converted into arginine, which then boosts nitric oxide production. Nitric oxide is what signals blood vessels to relax and widen. When vessels open up, blood flows more freely, including through the tiny filtering units of the kidneys. Studies have shown that improved nitric oxide availability is associated with better renal blood flow and reduced ischemic stress on kidney tissue. That matters because ischemia, low blood supply, is a major driver of chronic kidney damage, especially in people with high blood pressure or aging arteries. Watermelon also contains lycopene, a powerful antioxidant linked to reduced oxidative damage in kidney cells. People with higher lycopene levels consistently show better markers of kidney health in observational studies. And then there's the gentle diuretic effect. Watermelon encourages urine production without shocking the system, helping flush waste while lowering strain on the kidneys. For most people in early or moderate stages of kidney decline, 1 to 3 cups a day can be both safe and supportive, though advanced cases should always follow medical guidance. But pause right here, because even perfect hydration and circulation won't protect kidneys if oxidative damage keeps building unchecked. There's another fruit, small, unassuming, and deeply underestimated, that acts like a shield at the cellular level. And that's where we're going next. If watermelon keeps the kidneys alive by restoring blood flow, the next fruit protects them at an even deeper level inside the cells themselves. Because even with good circulation, kidneys still face a relentless enemy. Most people never think about oxidative damage. Every single day, your kidneys filter roughly 50 gallons of blood. That process creates free radicals, unstable molecules, that slowly damage kidney cells, blood vessels, and the tiny filters called glomeruli. This damage doesn't announce itself. It accumulates silently until function is lost. I remember a patient in her late 60s who did everything right. She drank water, avoided salt, followed her doctor's advice. Yet her kidney numbers kept slipping. When we looked closer, one thing stood out. Her diet was almost completely missing antioxidant-rich foods. Her kidneys were doing hard labor with no protection. That's where blueberries changed the story. Blueberries are one of the most antioxidant-dense foods on the planet, and their power comes largely from compounds called anthocyanins, the pigments that give them that deep blue color. Anthocyanins don't just neutralize free radicals. They actively reduce inflammatory signals inside kidney tissue. Animal studies have shown that diets enriched with blueberries significantly reduce markers of kidney damage and preserve kidney structure under toxic stress. Human studies consistently link higher anthocyanin intake with better kidney function and slower decline over time. But there's another reason blueberries matter, especially if blood sugar has ever been an issue for you. Diabetes is the leading cause of kidney failure worldwide, and even mild blood sugar spikes damage the delicate vessels inside the kidneys. Blueberries improve insulin sensitivity and help stabilize glucose levels without overwhelming the system. 1 cup contains only about 115 milligrams of potassium, making it one of the few fruits that remains kidney-friendly, even for many people with moderate kidney disease. That combination, low potassium, high antioxidants, and blood sugar support, is rare. Blueberries also feed beneficial gut bacteria through their natural fiber and polyphenols. Emerging research shows that a healthier gut produces fewer toxins that kidneys must filter, reducing overall strain. Fresh or frozen blueberries work equally well, and studies suggest 1 to 2 cups per day provides meaningful protection without risk. But here's where most people stop, and that's a mistake. Because protecting kidney cells is powerful, but it doesn't remove the toxic load already circulating in the blood. And there's a simple everyday fruit that helps do exactly that by working from the gut outward. That's what we need to talk about next. If blueberries act like a shield protecting kidney cells from ongoing damage, the next fruit works in a completely different and often overlooked way. Because even the healthiest kidneys struggle when the blood itself is overloaded with toxins. And here's the part most people don't realize. Many of those toxins don't start in the kidneys at all. They start in the gut. I once spoke with a man in his early 70s who told me, "My doctor said my kidneys were tired, but I didn't understand why I eat light, I don't drink soda." When we look closer, the issue wasn't what his kidneys were failing to remove. It was how much unnecessary waste was reaching them in the first place. This is where apples quietly become one of the most powerful kidney-supporting foods you can eat. Apples are rich in soluble fiber, especially a type called pectin. Pectin forms a gel-like substance in the digestive tract that binds to toxins, cholesterol, and metabolic waste before they enter the bloodstream. When those substances are eliminated through the gut instead of absorbed, your kidneys don't have to filter them out later. That alone reduces workload and inflammation. Studies on people with reduced kidney function have shown that increasing soluble fiber intake can significantly lower blood levels of uremic toxins, the very compounds that accelerate kidney decline. But apples don't stop there. They also contain quercetin, a flavonoid, with strong anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects. Research has linked quercetin to reduced oxidative stress in kidney tissue and slower progression of chronic kidney disease. And unlike many healthy foods, apples are naturally low in sodium and relatively low in potassium with roughly 195 milligrams per medium apple. That makes them suitable for most people across different stages of kidney health. There's also a metabolic benefit people underestimate. Apples have a low glycemic index, meaning they don't spike blood sugar. Stable blood sugar protects the tiny blood vessels inside the kidneys from long-term damage, especially in people with insulin resistance or early diabetes. Eating apples with the peel on is critical. The peel holds much of the fiber and polyphenols that make this protection possible. 1 to 2 apples a day is enough to make a real difference over time. But even when toxins are reduced and inflammation is controlled, there's another silent threat that can undo everything if ignored. Crystals can still form, stones can still develop, and preventing that comes down to one powerful compound most people aren't getting nearly enough of. That's where we need to go next. By now you've seen how infections, poor circulation, oxidative stress, and toxic overload can quietly wear the kidneys down. But there's another threat that often strikes suddenly and painfully, even in people who thought they were doing everything right. I'm talking about kidney stones. And here's the hard truth for many older adults: stones aren't just a painful episode. They're a warning sign that the chemistry inside the kidneys is already off balance. I once treated a patient in his late 60s who said the stone was the worst pain of his life. What shocked him wasn't the pain, it was what came after. Imaging showed repeated crystal formation and early structural stress in his kidneys. He asked me one simple question: could I have prevented this? In many cases, the answer is yes. And that's where lemons become far more powerful than most people realize. Lemons are rich in citric acid, also known as citrate. Citrate is one of the strongest natural inhibitors of kidney stone formation ever studied. It works by binding to calcium in the urine, preventing calcium from combining with oxalate to form crystals. At the same time, citrate makes urine less acidic, creating an environment where stones struggle to form in the first place. Clinical research has shown that increasing citrate intake can reduce kidney stone recurrence by 30 to 50% or more. That's not a small effect, that's a life-changing difference. But lemons don't just prevent stones, they protect kidney tissue indirectly by encouraging hydration. Many people simply don't drink enough water, especially as they age. Lemon water makes hydration easier, more consistent, and more enjoyable. Better hydration means diluted urine, reduced toxin concentration, and less strain on kidney filters. Lemons also provide vitamin C, which supports immune defense and acts as an antioxidant, further protecting kidney cells from oxidative injury. Used correctly, lemon water is simple and safe. Half to 1 whole lemon squeezed into a large glass of water once or twice a day provides meaningful citrate without overwhelming the system. Concerns about tooth enamel are easily managed by dilution using a straw and waiting before brushing. And importantly, lemons are naturally low in potassium, making them suitable for most people with kidney concerns. But here's where many people stop, and that's a mistake. Because even if stones are prevented and urine chemistry is improved, chronic inflammation can still quietly push kidneys toward failure. And there's one bright red fruit that targets inflammation and blood pressure together in a way few foods can. That's what we need to talk about next. Up to this point, we've talked about stopping infections, improving blood flow, shielding kidney cells, reducing toxic load, and preventing stones. But there's another force that quietly accelerates kidney damage. More than most people realize, chronic inflammation paired with rising blood pressure. These two almost always travel together, especially after 60. And when they do, kidney decline speeds up fast. I remember a woman in her early 70s who told me, "My blood pressure wasn't that high, so I didn't worry." What she didn't know was that even mildly elevated pressure combined with low-grade inflammation was slowly damaging the tiny blood vessels inside her kidneys. By the time her labs changed, the damage had already been accumulating for years. This is where strawberries come into the picture in a surprisingly powerful way. Strawberries are loaded with vitamin C, but that's only the beginning. They contain anthocyanins and ellagic acid polyphenols, shown to reduce inflammatory markers and oxidative stress in both blood vessels and kidney tissue. In multiple large population studies, people who regularly consume berries had significantly lower levels of systemic inflammation and a reduced risk of developing high blood pressure. That matters because hypertension is the second leading cause of kidney failure worldwide, right behind diabetes. What makes strawberries especially valuable is how they work on multiple fronts at once. They help relax blood vessels, improve endothelial function, and support healthier blood pressure levels without medication side effects. At the same time, their fiber and polyphenols slow sugar absorption, keeping blood glucose stable. For people with diabetes or pre-diabetes conditions that dramatically increase kidney risk, this combination is critical. 1 cup of strawberries contains only about 50 calories, provides roughly 3 grams of fiber, and delivers a powerful antioxidant load without spiking blood sugar. Potassium is always a concern for kidney health, and strawberries sit in a moderate range, around 230 milligrams per cup. For most people with early or moderate kidney issues, that's well within a safe zone when portions are reasonable. Fresh or frozen strawberries work equally well, and eating them 3 to 4 times per week has been associated with measurable cardiovascular and inflammatory benefits. But here's the part almost no one connects. Even when inflammation is reduced and pressure is controlled, digestion itself can still place hidden stress on the kidneys. How your body handles protein and how well it breaks food down can quietly tip the balance toward recovery or decline. And there's one tropical fruit that targets that problem in a way nothing else on this list does. That's where we're headed next. So far, you've seen how kidney health depends on far more than avoiding salt or drinking more water. We've talked about infection control, circulation, cellular protection, toxin reduction, stone prevention, and calming inflammation. But there's one final piece most people never connect to kidney decline, and it sits right at the center of digestion. Because when digestion struggles, the kidneys quietly pay the price. I think of a man in his late 60s who told me he felt bloated and heavy after meals for years. "I thought it was just aging," he said. What he didn't realize was that poorly digested protein was increasing the amount of nitrogenous waste his kidneys had to filter every single day. Over time, that extra burden showed up in his labs. This is where pineapple becomes far more than a sweet treat. Pineapple contains bromelain, a unique group of enzymes that help break down proteins more efficiently in the digestive tract. When protein is digested properly, fewer toxic byproducts enter the bloodstream, and the kidneys don't have to work as hard to clear them. Research has shown that bromelain also reduces inflammatory signaling throughout the body, including in kidney tissue. In experimental studies, bromelain has been associated with lower markers of inflammation and protection against certain types of kidney stress. But pineapple's benefits don't stop there. 1 cup provides close to 80 milligrams of vitamin C, supporting antioxidant defenses that protect kidney cells from oxidative injury. It's also rich in manganese, a trace mineral essential for antioxidant enzymes that neutralize free radicals at the cellular level. Together, these nutrients support recovery rather than constant repair. Potassium often raises concern, and pineapple sits in a moderate range, about 180 milligrams per cup. For most people with early to moderate kidney issues, that amount is manageable when portions are reasonable. Fresh pineapple is best, and including some of the core can increase bromelain intake. 2 to 3 servings per week is enough to deliver benefits without overwhelming blood sugar or mineral balance. People taking blood thinners should simply be mindful, as bromelain has mild anticoagulant effects. And here's the moment to pause. If you step back, you'll see something powerful. Each of these fruits works on a different pressure point: infection, blood flow, oxidation, toxins, stones, inflammation, digestion. None of them act alone. Together, they form a system of protection your kidneys recognize immediately. But knowing the foods is only part of the equation. How you combine them, how often you use them, and one common mistake most people make can decide whether these benefits actually show up in your lab results. And that's exactly what we need to talk about next. If you've stayed with me until now, I want you to hear this clearly. That alone tells me something important about you. It means you care about your future. It means you're not willing to wait until symptoms force a decision on you. And that matters more than you might think. Kidney decline doesn't happen overnight, and neither does recovery or protection, but small, consistent choices made early can change the entire trajectory of your health. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to overhaul your life in 1 week. What you need is awareness, intention, and consistency. Start with 1 or 2 of these fruits. Pay attention to how your body responds. Stay hydrated. Follow the guidance your doctor gives you. But remember that food is not just fuel. It's information your body reads every single day. When you give your kidneys the right signals, you give them a chance to hold on to function longer than most people expect. If this video helped you see your kidney health differently, I encourage you to save it. Come back to it. Share it with someone you care about, because many people don't realize they're at risk until it's far too late. And if you want to stay informed with clear, practical, evidence-based guidance on kidney health and aging, well, make sure you subscribe to this channel. I regularly share updates, research-backed strategies, and simple explanations designed specifically for people who want to protect their kidneys before problems become permanent. Most importantly, don't let fear take control. Knowledge should empower you, not overwhelm you. Many people live long, full lives with stable kidney function because they acted early and stayed consistent. You are not powerless here. Your kidneys are resilient, and with the right support, they can continue working for you far longer than you may have been led to believe. This is Dr. Richard Hale. Thank you for trusting me with your time. Take care of your kidneys, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.